Picture this. You're 10 years old, sitting in a quiet classroom, filling in bubbles on a test. 45 minutes later, a single number decides whether you're smart or just average. That number follows you for life. This is the IQ test, and it has lied to an entire generation. Today, we're exposing the 4 biggest lies IQ tests have told us, and why believing them has destroyed the confidence of millions of people. Let's dive in. Lie 1. Intelligence is one single number. The first lie. Intelligence is one single number. IQ tests claim they can measure your entire intellectual capacity with a score between 85 and 145. One number. That's it. But here's the truth. Howard Gardner proved there are 9 types of intelligence: linguistic, logical, mathematical, musical, spatial, bodily kinesthetic, interpersonal, intrapersonal, naturalistic, and existential. Einstein might have scored 160 on an IQ test, but he could have completely failed at interpersonal intelligence. Someone with average IQ might be a genius at reading emotions, building things with their hands, or understanding nature. The problem? IQ tests only measure 2 types: logical mathematical ability and part of linguistic intelligence. That's it. So what's the damage? Millions of people with average IQ scores around 100 believe they're not intelligent. Meanwhile, they might be brilliant at emotional intelligence, creative problem solving, or practical skills. But they'll never know, because one test at age 10 told them they were just okay. Lie 2. Your IQ defines your potential. The second lie. Your IQ defines your potential. The narrative goes like this. High IQ equals success. Low IQ equals failure. Simple, right? Wrong. Carol Dweck's research at Stanford showed that growth mindset, the belief that you can improve through effort, matters far more than IQ. Her studies found that students who believed intelligence was fixed performed worse than students with lower IQs who believed they could grow. Here's another fact. Research shows emotional intelligence predicts success twice as accurately as IQ does. You can have a genius-level IQ and still fail in life if you can't manage emotions, build relationships, or persist through challenges. Let me give you a real example. Richard Feynman, Nobel Prize winner in physics. One of the greatest scientific minds of the 20th century. His IQ test score? 125. That's just above average. Not genius. Not exceptional. Feynman himself said, IQ tests measure a narrow band of mental ability. But here's the damage this lie causes. When someone scores 105 on an IQ test, they think, I can't learn programming. I can't study mathematics. I'm just not smart enough. And they stop trying. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Your potential isn't locked in by a number. It's shaped by your mindset, your persistence, and your willingness to grow. Lie 3. IQ is fixed and unchangeable. The third lie. Your IQ is fixed and unchangeable. This might be the most damaging lie of all. The idea that you're born with a certain level of intelligence and there's nothing you can do about it. Here's what the research actually shows. Intelligence is malleable. Neuroscience has proven that the brain has neuroplasticity, the ability to form new neural connections throughout your entire life. When you learn new skills, solve challenging problems, or even just read regularly, you're literally rewiring your brain. A study from the University of Michigan found that working memory training can increase fluid intelligence, the type of intelligence IQ tests claim to measure. Another study tracked students over several years and found IQ scores could fluctuate by 20 points or more depending on education, environment, and effort. Think about that. 20 points. That's the difference between average and superior intelligence. But here's what happened when people believed IQ was fixed. They stopped challenging themselves. If you're told at 12 that your IQ is 95, why would you push yourself in advanced classes? Why would you attempt difficult subjects? You've already been labeled. The truth is, intelligence grows when you struggle with hard problems, make mistakes, and persist anyway. Lie 4. High IQ means you're actually smart. The fourth lie. Having a high IQ means you're actually smart in ways that matter. Here's the uncomfortable truth. High IQ and stupidity can coexist. Dietrich Bonhoeffer, the German theologian, observed something disturbing during Nazi Germany. Many highly intelligent people, doctors, professors, lawyers, supported or enabled atrocities. They had high IQs but displayed what he called functional stupidity. Why? Because IQ measures analytical horsepower, not moral reasoning. It doesn't measure wisdom, knowing when to apply knowledge appropriately, common sense, navigating everyday situations effectively, critical thinking, questioning your own assumptions. Keith Stanovich, a psychologist from University of Toronto, coined the term dysrationalia, the inability to think and behave rationally despite having adequate intelligence. His research showed that smart people are just as likely to fall for scams, conspiracy theories, and logical fallacies as anyone else. In fact, high IQ can make it worse. Why? Because intelligent people are better at rationalizing bad ideas. They construct elaborate justifications for beliefs they arrived at emotionally. They're not thinking more clearly, they're just better at defending their biases. Real-world example, the 2008 financial crisis. Wall Street was full of high IQ individuals from top universities. They created complex financial instruments that collapsed the global economy. Were they stupid? No. Their IQs were probably 130 plus, but they lacked practical wisdom and ethical judgment. The damage? We created a society that puts high IQ people in charge without asking. Do they have good judgment? Do they understand consequences? Can they admit when they're wrong? Intelligence without wisdom is just sophisticated foolishness. Here's the truth. IQ tests measure how well you perform on a 45-minute test. They do not measure creativity. They do not measure resilience. They do not measure wisdom, emotional intelligence, practical judgment, or determination, the things that actually determine who you become. Alfred Binet, the psychologist who created the first IQ test in 1905, never intended it to measure fixed intelligence. He designed it to identify students who needed extra help in school. That's it. A diagnostic tool for one specific purpose. But we turned it into a weapon. We used it to rank human worth. We let it destroy confidence, limit opportunities, and create a hierarchy based on a deeply flawed measurement. Don't let a number from 100 years ago define you. Intelligence isn't a single number. It's how you think, how you adapt, and how you grow. It's your ability to learn from mistakes, understand other people, solve real problems, and create something meaningful. If this video changed how you see intelligence, share it with someone who's doubting themselves. They need to hear this.